Hey, so just a quick PSA. The reason I keep mentioning things in this video like Thanksgiving is because I recorded it in November and then I had a bunch of really major storage issues with my phone and couldn't upload it, and then I couldn't even access the files for a while. So Alex helped me out with it and everything. It's just taken a while to kind of come back around to it. But obviously you're seeing it now, so it's uploaded. So consider this to be just part one, but I just wanted to throw out the PSA because I know that that's weird that I'm uploading in May for something that was filmed in November. I just wanted to mention I am not crazy. I wasn't talking about Thanksgiving this year, but it was filmed before. So enjoy the video, enjoy the cleaning and the decluttering, and just expect more to come because this was really just part one, what I had time for at the time, and I have since kind of like recluttered and also like gotten rid of more stuff, and I have more to do, so stay tuned for more. I've been talking about doing my kitchen for a really long time, and I'm finally getting into a little bit of it. So we'll see how that goes. I cleaned it up as best I could, but it's still kind of a mess. So I have a pretty small kitchen, but it could be, it could be worse, could be smaller. And everything kind of fits where it goes, but nothing fits very well. We definitely have a lot of excess that we just don't need and don't use. And there are a couple of items that I think would be really helpful and useful to us that we could use. And everything is horribly organized. So I'm gonna go through, and it's probably gonna take a few days. The baby's napping and the kids are napping right now, so I don't know how much time I'm gonna have, but I'm at least gonna get through like one cabinet and get that done. And yeah, I'm gonna do my best. There's a lot of stuff, and we even have some in the closet downstairs. So wish me luck, I'm gonna get started. So I have all these bowls. This set was one that we requested on our registry when we got married, and I really liked it. It's really hard plastic, obviously not a great zero waste decision, but this was years before I even knew that was a thing. But I'm not a fan of plastic, and even though I only use cold items to go in here, I still just don't love the plastic aspect, and I think someone else could really enjoy it, someone who doesn't care about plastic or not. So I think I will be getting rid of these finally, which is a little bit sad because I really did. I liked them and we used them so much, and we still use them a lot for mixing things and salad and everything. But I'd really like some glass. But here's my problem. These were ones that I definitely said that I wanted. A family member found them on a swap board, I think, and they're vintage Corningware Pyrex, and I love the way that they look. Just really love them, but I'm almost positive that they have lead in them, as almost all Pyrex and Corningware did. I think I just read that they still had lead in them up until like 2005. And these are definitely, I think, 70s vintage, but I know that they're gonna have toxic metals in them. So my plan was to swap these out for these ones, but I can't do that because honestly, if I have to choose between BPAs and lead, I have a huge problem with heavy metals already. So I feel like cold things in BPA in the plastic is gonna be the lesser of the evils. So I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm like 95% sure that these have toxic metals. So I'm gonna have to investigate that, and I'll probably talk to Leah about it because she has become very educated on that. So I'll see what I can do there. I don't have a test kit or anything, but the internet is pretty clear that it's like, yeah, it basically just is going to by default. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these, but my plan is ruined, is what I'm saying. So I'm going through the mason jar lid drawer, and there is some Mario money in here. So that's fun. I'm a really, really organized person. So everything is just so, and it's all good.
I mean, are you kidding? This is ridiculous.
All right, so my project right now is just putting all of the lids on the jars that I have. Hi. And matching them up and getting rid of the excess. So ideally there won't be any leftover lids. I know there are a ton though, because I think we've just gotten rid of jars through the years and forgotten about the lids because they're separate. So that's been a huge spatial issue, and it takes up an entire drawer in a pretty small kitchen. So if I can get all that taken care of, because the thing is we already store the jars in the cabinets. So if they just have their lids on them and we don't have to take up an entire drawer for that, that would be a huge help. So that's what I'm doing right now. This is one of the problems that I have with zero waste is I went through this huge phase of just saving everything that came into the house. Like I would buy something and it would be like zero waste, like a jar of jam, for instance. We get this sugar-free jelly from the farmer's market all the time. And it's like a zero waste product because we just buy the jar and there's no receipt, there's no nothing with it. We stick it in our own bag and it's a mason jar so we can reuse it. But through the years, you eventually, like I don't make my own jelly, so we keep buying the jelly. The baby's playing with the jar. Eventually you get way too many jars, and this isn't just jelly, this is just a small piece of this huge thing that happens. So I have way too many jars, and for a while I was like, we were gonna can things, we were gonna jar things, and at this phase of our lives, it's just not gonna happen. All right, it's a few hours later. There are several jars in here. There are a couple of jars that are smaller than we would like, that we used to use for homemade coffee creamer and stuff like that, but they aren't as useful to me as mason jars are. This is an old shaker for protein, and we have the Vitamix, and we don't even have the bottle that goes with this anymore. It's plastic. We have a bunch of lunch containers from Amazon that I thought were such a great idea, and they're just terrible. The lids don't even stay on. They don't stack because they're weirdly rounded. Here's a random plastic lid for a container we don't even have anymore. A bunch of cutting These aren't called boards. I don't know what they're called, but they're like cutting boards. And we just don't use them. We have nicer ones that are thicker and just nicer and better, and we don't need as many cutting boards as we have. So a bunch of jars, and that's it so far. It's a good bit though. It's a pretty big, it's a diaper box full, and I think it's only the beginning, so that's good. I'm also, in addition to the mason jars, like I said, I'm putting lids and containers together, so I think that'll help a lot. So what's your vision for the kitchen?
2020. Oh.
No, it's not.
I would like, so
I don't know what it is.
I want to have as little stuff as possible.
We're really close.
We're really close.
I don't have the tripod, so. So your vision for the kitchen.
My vision for the kitchen, I want to have as little stuff as possible, but I don't ever want to like make a relatively basic recipe. We're not like gourmet cooks. We cook a lot of really good food. We enjoy cooking. We enjoy cooking together. And there's other kinds of cooking that we'd probably like to get into in the future. But generally speaking, we cook a lot of the same things. But there's some things that we want to cook that we just haven't, that I think we just haven't because it's been too much work in a cluttered kitchen. So I want to declutter the stuff that we don't need, but keep things that we genuinely think that we'll use. So I think we have a lot of duplicates. So my vision would be to get rid of duplicates for the most part.
We have a spiralizer that we would like to use more of, but we don't have the mental space.
Yeah, like I'd like to spiralize more. I'd like to actually use our oven more instead of using our oven as a storage space all the time. I'd like to actually be able to bake and roast and whatever in it.
I don't know where else people.
I mean, I like
so.
grilling, but I can't grill all winter long. So
yeah, we were planning on getting an island as a gift to ourselves when we're done minimalizing the kitchen, but
dishwasher, yay!
But I think we've decided that we don't really want to use our limited kitchen space and put an island right in the middle. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of floor space in the kitchen, so I think we could incorporate a small island. We don't have a lot of counter space, and that definitely, and we were making dinner tonight, and it was
sometimes
rough.
we have to use the kitchen table sitting down for cutting produce and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
Same page?
I think so.
I hope so. He has different opinions about which mason jars to keep, but
I want to keep mason
we'll
jars.
figure that out. You know who watches The Simplicity Sisters? This guy. Just kidding. He doesn't.
Almost never.
He doesn't.
I did it first.
He's not. He doesn't believe in me.
That's not true. I don't believe in
He doesn't
you
believe
too.
in Leah. So, anyway, subscribe to our channel, right?
Oh.
Subscribe to our channel.
So sore. Like and subscribe
That's right.
to this channel.
This one. That I can not have to destroy our kitchen for like a week to do the whole thing.
I appreciate that.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
That's a lot of old lids. It's kitchen detox day 2. I'm wearing the same shirt. Don't judge me. I'm having an existential crisis about the rabbit hole that Leah sent me down with the lead poisoning, and I think that everything we own might have lead in it. So Leah gave me these cake toppers from her childhood, and some of them are very old. Like, I don't want to know how old those are because look at the paint on them. And I know that these probably have lead. I just called her about it. And we can only assume that these probably have toxins in the paint and you're just sticking them right in the cake. And I'm gonna minimalize these. There's an arm sticking out of the bag. So these are gonna go. So here's our mug collection. We have too many mugs, but I love them so much, and I honestly use all of them, so I'm not really worried about them. Even though we've gotten to where they have to double stack a little bit, I don't love that, but hopefully if we get rid of some other stuff, there will be room for them. As long as I have room for them, I don't mind that we have too many of them, honestly, because we use them all. All right, so far they all fit. That's all the mugs except the one that I am using right now, so I'm pretty pleased with that. There's no problem as long as they fit in their container, right? These are one of my biggest problems. So these glasses, I don't know if I've talked about them on this channel before, but I love them so much. They came from my grandparents, Leah and I, our grandparents' lake house that we grew up going to, just where we had a ton of memories, and Leah's Facebook group is actually named after this place. It was just a place where she always had her birthdays there because Leah's birthday is in the summer, and we would go there. My parents had their honeymoon there. It was just a really special place, and we had to sell it a few years ago out of the family. But these are the vintage 60s glasses from there, and we don't really use them, but we use them when guests are here, and I just love them. But now I'm really scared there's lead in them, because apparently there's lead in most things from that era if there's coloring in the glass. So I'm really torn, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research before I make a final decision here, because I'm just not gonna keep stuff with toxic metals. I got a pack of zero waste cleaning brushes on Amazon probably a year and a half or so ago, and it was the second time I had done that, and this one honestly is just useless. It's so stiff and it's a weird shape. It doesn't fit in the bottles like we need it to, and we do have a bottle brush that we like that works better, and this one has just hardly gotten any use, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. We don't even have a Tervis tumbler anymore to fit this. I don't know why we still have this. This is a great task because you shouldn't have these things in your house. Things that don't belong to other things that just are taking up space and collecting dust. So this is a great reminder of why I'm doing this. This is another one that's really painful. Not really, but I bought these myself. There are 5 of them. They're colored green glass with metal and wood handles, and I loved them so much the minute I saw them in the thrift store, and I think I paid like $8 for 5 of them. And this was years ago. This was before I was even married. It was just one of those things that I saw it and I just fell in love with it. And honestly, it's just not very practical, and we have never used them, and it's like I wish we did, but we don't, and we never have, and I just don't think we ever will. And like I said, wood is just not our season right now because it's hand wash, and I can't keep up with it. Every time we use our wooden stuff.
Dad, it's Han Solo.
Oh no, Han Solo?
Yeah, I'm going to fight Han Solo.
Oh, but he's a good guy. So I would love to keep these and use them, but I know we're not going to. And it's one of those things that I don't have to be sad about because I know that someone is going to love them like I did and probably use them like I didn't. So I can let go of these with ease and with gladness that my cabinets will be freer and I will be freer. So we are keeping the big wooden bowls because we've always loved them for fruit and produce that we put on the table. And it's one of those things where you just wipe it out occasionally. You don't have to just wash it all the time, and it doesn't get water damaged. And that's our main issue with wooden stuff, is just having to keep up with hand washing all the time. In the season of our lives with the young kids and everything, dishwasher is just the way to go for us. But we bought these when we were newlyweds. We found them all, I think it was like 1 or 2 different thrift store trips that we just found them, and we love wooden stuff and think they're just so great that most of them aren't matching. Like this one's a standalone, and these 2 were a set, and there's this one that's different, and these are all the same bowls, and we really like these even though they are not in the best of shape. But we did use these, especially for salad, for a really long time. And there's this really beautiful, this might be my favorite one. It's a plate, and I don't know, like a bowl plate set. I don't even know. It's got a little crack in it. I don't think it's really very practical for anyone necessarily, and it might be supposed to be for like decoration or something. I don't even know, but we got all of these with aspirations to be those people, like those retro natural wood type people, and that being our aesthetic, and I still love that, but it's just not practical, and I value practicality now over the visuals of our house. And so we had those up here, and they took up the entire top cabinet, and we're just ready to let them go because they're just not working for us. So we're gonna keep the salad bowls and the produce bowl. Yeah, we put, when the guests are over, we also put big salads in here, and that's fine because the occasional hand washing is fine. We have to do that with our cast iron pans every day. It's not a big deal, but I just can't manage individual hand wash situations like this. Things that will be damaged and have been damaged from us not washing them when we were supposed to. So we are letting those go. And we also used to have several more of these ones, but they are glued together in two pieces, and we were so neglectful of washing them when we were supposed to and taking care of them that a lot of them came apart at their glue point and just came in half, and it was totally our fault for not taking care of them. So if we aren't able to take care of them, then it's just time to let them go. The only exception is this wooden bowl here. It's a little bit deeper. It's really cute. This is a bowl that Alex got in Taiwan when he lived there for a year, and it was a really special time in his life, and he loved it, and he picked it out himself and just bought it with these spoons. He gave me one of the spoons when we were dating and kept one for himself. They used to be our coffee spoons, and these just mean a lot to him, and he uses this bowl all the time, and I know that it's meaningful to him. He will love it and take care of it. And we have room for that. So we have his ramen bowl and we have his wooden bowl, so I'm gonna keep those. And we also have some wooden chopsticks that we have that we are gonna use. And as far as wooden stuff goes, I also have this car plate that was given to us by a grandparent, I think when Han was a baby, maybe when I was pregnant with him, my oldest. So that's his plate. And it's definitely not in good shape anymore because it's hard to keep up with the wooden washing, but it's fine, and he uses it and loves it, so we're gonna keep that still. But yeah, other than that, I think our wooden stuff is out the door. Letting go of, we're gonna sell this Le Creuset. Leah actually found this at a Goodwill, I think. That was just like an amazing, one of those like legendary thrifting experiences. I know that she still remembers and still thinks about it as one of her greatest finds, and she gave it to me because I love orange, and we did use this for a while, but it was specifically listed on the site she sent me about things that have toxic lead in them. Is Le Creuset specifically apparently has toxic metals in the ceramic. So we're going to be selling that because honestly most people just don't care and love Le Creuset. So we'll be selling that along with some of the old vintage Pyrex that has the lead. And also Alex doesn't really drink anymore, so we're getting rid of a bunch of his alcohol glasses and accessories. We also have this single cup pour over thing that we were pretty excited about, but we were given we were given this thing that I completely forget the name of right now. A friend gave this to us, and that's gonna replace it. A Chemex. We were given a Chemex by a friend, so we're getting rid of this guy. So that's good. I think this has lead in it. We have to get rid of it too. We have 2 white ones. We don't need 3, so we're getting rid of this too. So I have some extraneous cluttery things in the kitchen that honestly I'm just not in the headspace to deal with right now because it's Thursday and Thanksgiving's in a week, and we're having friends over on Saturday and I have a lot to do, but this is just a little view. Like this jar, I don't feel like it's necessary. This is our straw cleaner and our bottle brush, like I was talking about. But this is a very large containment device for them now, and we have all of our other stuff over here, and this is a mess too, but they don't really work in the jar. We have all of our straws in here, and I really would love to just keep them in a drawer instead. Here's a paintbrush that's drying. This is our grocery money. We don't use cash for groceries like we were, and people aren't really using cash as much as they used to, so I don't know what to do with this. But I'm kind of annoyed that this jar has just been out and not being used for so long. And I have a little change purse. This is where I put Ingy's money. And it shouldn't be in the kitchen. I love this frog, and I have no regrets. He's useless, but I love him. And I just have like some random stuff. But I'm just showing some of my random items that I'm not really cleaning or decluttering or minimalizing today because I just don't have the brain space for it or the time. But I will be getting to this and improving all of that at some point, and I will put it in the kitchen series. I'll do like a kitchen playlist. So that's just a little snapshot of reality. The dreaded above the kitchen area. This is mostly bread. This is an extra thing for our steam mop that we just bought. I just went over this and I dusted like a month ago, so this is another area where I'm gonna go more in depth later, but it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and there's not a ton to get rid of. It's more like organizational stuff, so I'm not really gonna pay much attention to this, just being honest with you. Up here, the cabinet above the fridge, we have a bunch of extra Brita filters. I wish that we had a better water filtration system, but we don't yet. I need to talk to Alex about this because we just ordered a new kitchen scale, and I don't know why we have this, but I know we were using it as a backup when our other one just broke, but now it's like we still have two, so I don't know why we have this one. So as someone who doesn't like duplicates, I would love to just get rid of that, but he often has reasons for keeping duplicates, and when I argue with him about it, oftentimes he ends up being right later because we'll need one and we won't have one. And anyway, so I'll talk to him about that. This is the box for the new kitchen scale that we just got, but this is a very old vintage bread box that was my grandmother's, and this is something that I do want to touch on for a second. And there's the inside. This wallpaper from my parents' kitchen. It's all rusty. I love the strawberry pattern. When I saw this, when my mom offered it to me when they were going through my grandmother's house to sell it after she died, I just thought it was so awesome and cool and cute. I love the strawberries. So let's talk about this item. Here I am on top of the fridge. So this bread box, it's very loud. I'm getting it down to the top of the fridge. Okay, so I loved this thing. Something that the Minimal Mom said, I talk about her a lot because she's really inspirational to me, but she had a video about sentimental items. She had a video about like family heirloom type stuff specifically, and this was such a service to me, and I still remember it months later, and it just stuck in my head. She was talking about, you know, stuff that belonged to family members who she loved, but realizing that the item itself she didn't even associate with the grandparent or whoever. And it just struck me, and I was like, that's totally how I feel. I have a lot of items that I keep around for sentimental reasons of my grandparents just because it belonged to them. Even though, and this is an example, this was my grandmother's, so I kept it when I was offered it. I don't use it. It's not very functional. I don't want to live a life, honestly, where I need this much bread storage. But I don't remember ever seeing this in my whole life until after she had died. I'm pretty sure it was probably in her attic. So it's one of those things that I don't associate it with my grandmother. I associate it with her death and me inheriting it after she died. And I was very close with my grandmother, and I have tons of stuff of hers. I mentioned her in my jewelry video, that I have a lot of her clip-on earrings. I have one pair that she wore all the time. I have so many memories of her. My other grandmama got dementia when I was little, so I don't have as many strong memories of our relationship, and I am almost like more prone to keep some stuff to keep a connection with her. But my dad's mom was really sharp up until she died, and I was almost 18 when she died. So I have all these memories, really strong memories of not just her, but our relationship. And I have pictures, I have more pictures of the two of us, and I don't have any association with her. And this very old, rusty, vintage bread box that I do not use and have not used since I inherited it. So this is something I've actually had up here on top of the fridge for months and months, planning to talk about it in the declutter, because I've known for months and months that I was gonna get rid of it. I kind of wish that I had a use for it, but it's like not recoverable, you know? It's so cute, but I just can't really justify keeping it. And I am really excited, honestly, to let it go, because it is taking up so much space and I don't need it, and it's gonna go. So I just wanted to mention that, because when the Minimal Mom talked about this, because sentimental items are my kryptonite, and I kind of turn everything into a sentimental item. So that was a really freeing thing that she said, because I realized how I have a lot of things that I consider to be sentimental that I don't even associate with the person that I loved that they came from. And I have so many things that I associate with my grandmother and when she was alive. And this is just not one of those things. I think about this, and I think about going through her house after she died and seeing this for the first time and thinking it was really cute and cool. Like, oh, I'm gonna own something that was my grandmother's who just died. Like, that's what I want. I want to carry on her legacy and have a piece of her, but this isn't a piece of her for me. This is just a bread box that I think was in her attic. So that's why I'm getting rid of it. And it's gonna it takes up a lot of real estate. So good decision. And I'll see if anyone else wants it, but I don't think anyone will. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now in a good way. Do you ever start a project and think, maybe no one else does this because you guys probably aren't documenting it for your social media account like I am, but sometimes I start a project and I am like, I hope this isn't underwhelming, because I don't feel like I have as much to get rid of as I would like. But sometimes the opposite happens, and that's happening right now. Like, I have 2 boxes from our pretty small kitchen, and I haven't even gone downstairs to the closet yet, and it's just a lot. It's a lot more stuff than I thought, and there's a lot more space than I thought there was going to be. So that's really good, especially since I haven't even gotten to the pantry yet, and there's a ton of junk on top of the pantry, which I don't even know. I don't think I have time to deal with that yet. We'll see. I really want to dust, so I honestly might just shift it into one of the empty cabinets for now, and after the holidays, deal with it then. But at least it will be like out of sight, out of mind while we have guests over and things. But yeah, things are going pretty well. It's a mess in here. I haven't even cleaned up the high chair from the baby's food attack. But lots of progress is being made, so I'm happy with that. And hopefully once it's all cleaned up, stuff is in the car, we can go donate stuff and it'll feel a lot better. So hopefully the kitchen will start feeling better, even if it doesn't necessarily look better right now. Real fast. Sorry if this video is scattered. That's me right now. If you guys are totally new to this whole poison in your dishware thing and you would like to know more, I will link the website down below that Leah sent to me. It's a woman who tests everything, and I think people send their stuff into her for her to test. So she has this large catalog of vintage items, and I think newer items too maybe, and she has all this information. She's written companies to find out what toxic metals or whatever, usually mostly lead, is in what, and that is how I am basing most of my decisions to keep or get rid of things. So just real fast as a just a heads up, if you are concerned about toxicity in your cookware or whatever, I'll link that for you. And I knew about this, but Leah just sent me the website yesterday because honestly I wasn't ready to face the music. But going through the kitchen, I felt like this was the time and I needed to. So I haven't researched much. I'm just kind of dipping my toes in. I know about toxic metals. I don't know about them in cookware, so this is new to me, but if you're interested in finding out more, I'm really disturbed at how much of my stuff is going out the door because it is horribly poisonous. So like to the touch, not just to eat off of, but to touch it is, and especially for kids. So I'll just throw that down in the description so that you guys can do your own research if you would like to. So heads up. I'm on top of the pantry. I don't really have time to do this, but I decided I needed to because it is so gross and I need to clean it because my lungs matter to me. Well, I put everything away, but it's like day 3 or day 4, and I am pretty excited. I'm gonna show you guys what I did. So this is the counter space now. We're just gonna have the butter when the dish is clean, comes out of the dishwasher. The water usually goes to the right of the sink, but I'm cleaning counters right now. So I cleaned everything really well, and I put the Instant Pot used to be in this corner and the Vitamix was beside it, and it was always pretty cluttered and just didn't look great. So I put the Vitamix in the corner because for the first time since we moved in 2 years ago, I can fit the Instant Pot in the cabinet, and that has been my goal. This is what we did in our old apartment. We actually had more space in the kitchen in our old apartment. So for the first time, I'm gonna have a clean counter space, and there's actually enough space to where I could move the espresso machine, the coffee grinder, and the coffee machine all over here if I wanted to, if we found that that was a better fit. But because our coffee mugs and all of our coffee accessories are in the cabinet above, I'm not sure I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna do that yet. But right now it just looks so good. So I'm gonna see if we can keep it clean and just see how this works out, because it's a totally new setup. It's pretty exciting that I can fit the entire Instant Pot in literally the only cabinet in the whole kitchen that it can fit in, because everything else is too small. So very excited about it.